All right, how's it going? Uh, does more population directly translates to more skills? Is the sole reason that India right now has the biggest backlog, like the lifetime of backlog in the employment-based category for the U.S. immigration? Does it only because of the Indian population, and that's what we're going to talk about. So, anyways, if you don't know me, my name is Anuj, and I'm traveling to all the 50 states of the United States in order to spread the awareness on discriminations against high skilled workers based on their country of birth. And I'm at my 37th state right now in California. I have been here for 40 days because I traveled to all the states so far, 37 states so far, to spread the awareness on this issue, which very few Americans know about this. And while I'm trying to spread the awareness to Americans, even like the people who are stuck or suffering because of this issue are not aware about that, and if they are not aware about that, then the impact would be like very less. And that's why I gave myself this challenge that I'm gonna be in California until I reach 100,000 subscribers. And while I'm in California, I decided that I will go live every day, talking about different things I wanted to talk about, right? And today I'm talking about, does the more skills, like not more skills, does more population immediately or directly translates to more skills, right? Uh, have you ever thought about, like, India has like a now most populous country, right? Why does India barely wins any gold medals in the Olympics, right? If more population immediately means like, or directly means that more skills, then India should win all the gold medals, right? The highest number of the gold medals India should win. Now think about that we don't even have a soccer team in the World Cup. India doesn't have soccer team in the World Cup. If more population directly translates to more skills, then we should have a soccer team, right? And we should be good at that, but we are not good at that, right? So give you some other examples rather than India just alone. You know that California has 10 million more population than Texas, but if you see that the number of players in NFL, Texas has more NFL players than compared to California, right? Then, if the more population translates directly to more skills, then California should have highest number of players in NFL, right? But that's not the case. So then why, if you think about that, then why India has the biggest backlog? And sometimes people say that India has the biggest backlog because the population of India is huge. But that's like sometimes if you people are saying that, okay, the 7% country cap is unfair regardless of the size of the country or population of the country, that's kind of okay, right? But sometimes people think that, oh, if there is no country cap, India will take all the green cards because just because India is most populous country now in 2023, that argument is not accurate, because even if you like just look at the visa bulletin, you will come to know, right, that the China was the most populous country until this year. Still, if you see that the backlog in EB2 category, China's final action date is 2020, and India's final action date is 2012. So if you just look at in that terms, right, it's like immediately obvious that why the population, like, no, the backlog for India is insane, doesn't only because it's most populous country. So let's talk about that now, that why India has the biggest backlog right now. Now, one thing you should uh, that is like a general thing that whatever people see other people doing them, other people doing around them, that seems achievable and they get motivated to do that or pursue that, right? So if you know that growing up, the only thing people most aspire to do in India was like doctors and engineers, right? That was like not easy to become doctors and engineer, but that's like still achievable, like because people saw them that there are like a lot of people becoming doctor and engineers around them, right? We didn't had any like Olympic winner around us, right? If we had like someone in our neighborhood, someone we know that who has won the gold medal, then we think that okay, because they did it, it's possible. It's not completely impossible for us to do, right? So that seemed like within the reach. A lot of the things back in the day growing up, like that if you want to play even in the Indian cricket team, there were like only 11 players can play in the Indian cricket team, right? So it's like if you want to pursue cricket back in the day, your parents will immediately advise you that, oh, don't go this route. This is like you're gonna fail and you're not gonna have, you won't be able to stand on your feet with like not playing cricket professionally, right? So that people like our parents or people advise against, like not we didn't had any actor in our neighborhood, right? That if you wanted to be a Bollywood actor back in that day, that seems out of reach because we didn't grow up anyone becoming a actor back in the day, right? So this become achievable. Now doctor, becoming a doctor, which kind of make sense in India, that there was like a huge population. India has huge population, so immediately that means that we need more doctors, right? And doctors had like a good life, like you can make a good living becoming a doctor. It was very respectful. So that was like kind of like that makes sense. But why we had like so much, like the engineer was the second thing, and why we have like lots and lots of like people in tech, not just only in tech, but especially in software development, right? So if you see that the software development kind of started in America in like 1970, they started becoming like more and more popular, and they were like growing and expanding, but the skills they needed back then, uh, it was like hard to meet those skills locally in the United States. And back in that day, there were like not that popular for people to immigrate to other countries, especially in the tech. So what happened in that early 1990, if you see, that lot of software development started coming to India. They started sending this software development to India uh, because they didn't had those skills there. So software development started coming to India. The hardware development or hardware design and that kind of thing started going to China more, right? Now, since comparatively to USA, I guess that companies were paying to India much less money, but compared to Indian standard, it was like good money compared to other fields. So a lot of people started seeing that if you go in this field, then you can make a good living, right? So like people started pursuing this field, that if you become a software developer, if you become a programmer, then you can make a good living. Probably you can go to the United States or like developed countries for growth, right? So that's like, and that you see that people, uh, when I was here early in these days, like when I was new to the United States, and when went to haircut, someone said that where are you from, right? And then I was like, I'm from Gujarat. And they're like, oh, you are the first one I met who is from Gujarat. Otherwise, all the people I meet, They always say Hyderabad or Bangalore. And why is that? Because, like you see, that in the early days, all the software development started coming to Bangalore or Hyderabad, right? So around when people see that around them, that okay, this is the thing I can pursue, because they see other people doing them, then they get aspired to do that, right? And that we see that the same. If you look at the number one school here people want to go to is Harvard, right? And if you look at the Harvard uh, admission quota or admission like statistics, you see that the most number of people in Harvard are from Massachusetts, right? They are, and Massachusetts in population wise is number 16th. So if the population directly translates to skills, then the number one students in Harvard would be from California, but that's not the case, right? That number one students in Harvard, they are from Massachusetts. So people see that okay, this is Harvard. Harvard is in that area, so they get aspired to do that, right? So they go to Harvard and they like not go to Harvard, but they aspire to go to Harvard. That seems within reach. So that's why you see that Harvard has the most number of students from Massachusetts. So that was the case, and right now you will see that some people complain about the consulting firms from India, right? That these are like Indian consulting firm, but the US gave rise to those consulting firms early on when they started importing all the software developments to India, and that's why we have this all this software development consulting firms. And even if you see that India, the second biggest industry right now is the software industry, software development. All right, what else I wanted to talk about? Now, this early on, why this software development started going to India, right? If they had an option to outsource this software development to France, would you think that they would have outsourced it to India? The reason they outsourced rather than any European country to India, because it was not possible to find that skills in the other countries at the same rate India was providing, right? So in the early days, the reason why software development started going to India and why the hardware started going to China was because of the cost effectiveness, right? That one thing was that the skill wasn't there, but other thing was that the cost benefits, right? But now if you look at that, it's not there. That software development, if you are like moving to India, there are still some cost benefits, but it's not that much. Now, like the Indian software developer makes pretty much same money as here comparatively. So now it's not the case that because software development is going to India these days, if they are like outsourcing, it's not because of the cost benefit, because they don't find the people here. So, yeah, that was one of the things is that if they had opportunity to send the software development to the other countries, I don't think so India would have been the top choice to start outsourcing. So now, because of that lot of outsourcing, now people, India has the highest number of India produces the highest number of software developers rather than any other countries, right? So it's like less about population. Another thing, let me look at it, what I was talking. Now, another thing why India has this huge backlog uh, for US employment based category is that because India has highest number of software developers, we have like a lot of doctors and people in pharmaceuticals as well. But another thing needs to happen for this backlog is that people need to be willing to leave their country, leave their family, all this behind uh, in order to gain more experience or in order to get a better life, right? And then, like, if you see that the European countries, they might have the skills, but the motivation for them to move to the other country and start a completely new life, leave everything behind, is very less, because the quality of life you see compared to those countries, to India, like what they call it first world countries, might be like pretty similar, right? There might be slight difference, but it's like not a huge difference for them to be motivated to leave everything behind and start new life, right? So that has to happen. That skill needs to be there, but even they need to be willing to go and start a whole new life in totally different new countries, right? So that's both the criteria met by India, that we had the skills, but even the skills we have is willing to go and start a new life in totally different country. But now, if you think that that might not be the case in the 10 years, right? Because nowadays, we have, I talked about few examples, right? That back in the days, if you wanted to be cricketer, you had like very little chance. But today, it's not the case. Now, I see the people from my neighborhood, or at least from my town, they are like playing in the IPL, right? So now we have IPL. So people like now people are pursuing cricket more than they used to do back in when I was growing up. Now we have like social media is prevalent everywhere, right? So back in the days, to become actor was difficult, but right now if you are good at acting, you can start creating some sketch or whatever, like you can create your own movie, and even if you cannot release on in the theater, you can like put it on social media, you can put it on YouTube. So like if you are like good, it's like more opportunities for people to discover you. uh, you might have seen that there was like some singers who was like just like a street vendor, and he was like good at singing, so he became like popular on social media, and they released a song with that one of the music company, right? So you see that India is changing now. People are not like only pursuing medical and engineering, they are pursuing other fields as well, all broad, right? So maybe I don't know, like maybe in 10 years, India might not be people from India might not be willing to go out and start a new life in totally different countries, or like maybe we might not be like pursuing like coding that much, that the people would be like, why I need to bury myself in the computer when I can like just do something more fun and make a good living, right? So we don't know that what's gonna happen in 10 years. India might not be like maybe like people from Bangladesh, they might overcome, and they might like start producing more developers, right? That's the case. And another thing I came across, right, that why we have like a lot of skills, and someone like who came to United States from UK mentioned that the biggest companies are tech in the United States. Like tech companies are the biggest companies in the United States versus in Europe. The biggest companies are fashion companies. That's very interesting, right? That let's say that right now the biggest companies are tech companies in the United States, but we don't know what the biggest companies in the United States will be in 10 years. Maybe the United States will become like Europe, and the biggest companies becomes fashion companies, and then the skills which United States will require, will India will have that less of those skills compared to like the France or some other countries which are like heavily focused on fashion companies, right? So that can change. I see that the skills United States needs, that changes from time to time, right? That back in the days there was a gold rush, right? So if you are like a gold miner, that was the skill in the demand. Today, United States has a shortage of STEM workers, like people in the STEM field. So that's why that the people of India, they are the pursuing STEM fields the most right now, and they are the ones who are like willing to go and start a totally new life in a new country, right? So that is the reason why the green card backlog for India is the biggest right now, right? And it's kind of like a lifetime of backlog. And the reason why that is that whatever skills United States needs, that India has that most, and it has like very less to do with the population. I hope that makes sense. I think I'm live streaming from software today, so I haven't figured it out where to see the chat. So if you let the chat on the YouTube, I haven't been able to see it, but hopefully I'll see it and reply it when I'm done. Anyways, like I'm sure this is like 14 days, and I wanted to reach more people and start traveling to the other states. I want to finish the 50 states on time, so I hopefully you are spreading this message or whatever, this live stream and all those things. You are like letting the people know who can benefit from this, right? So hopefully, please share it if you haven't with anyone you know who would be like benefit because of this content, or like it would be good for them to know about this campaign so we can make more impact. All right, that's it for today. It was great hanging out with you guys, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.